Hello. Good evening. Let me know when you get a notification, Em.
Nothing yet. Yeah.
Been
Gotcha.
got me? Hi people. Hi Emma, watching. Who's with me? Hi Adam. Hi Son. Happy Tuesday after the Victorian long weekend, everybody. I hope you had a safe weekend. If you protested, I hope you were safe. If you holidayed or travelled, I hope you were safe. If your kids went back to school today in Victoria, I hope they stayed safe, and I hope all the families are doing well. How is everybody? Hi Hayley. How you going? Good one tonight. We are going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about Pete Evans. We're going to talk about him as Pandemic Pete. We're going to reference the 60 Minutes episode, and we are going to talk about some of his evolved enlightenment, and see how we go. So, oh, hey Caitlin. Hey Julia, always here with me. Good evening, Karen. Hey Cass. It feels like ages since we've done this, and I guess it's been over a week since our last live, so we're back. Now, before we get into everything that is Pandemic Pete and the evolved enlightened ones, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, because you all know that I'm a scientist and that I have spent the last 17 years of my life researching, whether it be in the lab at CSIRO, working on my project toward my PhD studies in influenza, and working for the genetics company. But there are lots and lots of things that you guys don't know about me. You know that I'm an identical twin, so that's fun. But you probably don't know that I love crystals. I've said it. It's out there. I love crystals. I love nature. I put crystals out to charge up in the full moon. I read tarot cards with my friends. Every day I pick a daily affirmation card. I'll pick one for the Farty Facts people right now. Now I just have to feel it in my bones. There are no limits to what you can achieve, people. There are no limits. Every day I put that at the front there, and that's what I sit there at my desk, and I have that little affirmation for the day. I love meditation. I love incense. I burn incense twice a day, in the morning, in the evening, wake up, wind down. Not only do I read books on science, psychology, read lots and lots of papers, and read books like this, Psychology, The Teen Brain. I also read books like this, The Super Attractor. And I listen to podcasts like Tony Robbins. I listen to podcasts like Joe Dispenza. I listen to Dave Asprey. I journal. Okay? I write down my thoughts and my feelings all the time. I throw a bit of science in there every now and again. Here's a page. Quinine tonic. It's a chemical compound from 1820, isolated from the bark of chinchone tree. The WHO lists it as an essential medicine. It was listed as an essential medicines in 2006. It's an amine, there's the chemical formula, and it helps with leg cramps. And I wrote that in there because I was drinking a gin and tonic, and quinine is what tonic is made of. So, I like to dabble in the scientific facts of things, but I also like to understand things that are that have been in our past and very spiritual as well. So I don't know anything before today and yesterday and this weekend, really. I didn't know anything about Pandemic Pete and Paleo Pete, because when it comes to health advice, nutrition advice, things to do with worldwide pandemics, I choose to take my resources from doctors, from people within the research field and the experts in their fields. I don't choose to get my facts and figures from a chef. So I've never really shown much interest in the side of him that likes to promote the paleo diet and anything to do with nutrition and health and well-being, because his training is as a chef. And although his personal hobbies and beliefs have evolved him into a world where he's very much educated maybe in his nutrition and the things that he wants to learn about, he's not my expert, so I don't go to him for those things. But some people do. And that's where we find ourselves tonight, because over the weekend he appeared on 60 Minutes as part of a conspiracy theory segment where they were trying to demystify why people like Pete Evans have a following in times of crisis like we have right now with COVID-19, and why people are choosing to take their advice from someone like him. And now there was two things that I watched for this episode tonight on him. One was the 60 Minutes piece, but I watched that second. The first thing I watched was the hour-and-a-half long unedited, uncropped, unedited piece that Pete Evans put up on his YouTube channel about his the full interview that he had on 60 Minutes. So I'm just going to take you through some of my initial notes. This is so painful. I had to stop it 4 or 5 times in the first 10 minutes because of the things that were coming out of his mouth. But I'm really glad that I pursued, because I found out a lot of things. And I want to, first of all, tell you that Pete Evans, what started him on this journey of self-enlightenment and evolution was a very, very well-known man from America that is pursuing excellence through health, well-being, and living the longest life he can. This guy's name's Anthony Robbins, and he has written a number of books. And Pete Evans discovered this book, and it started him off on his journey on trying to unlock his potential, basically. And I want to say that some of the books that have most influenced Pete Evans, I've read all of them. Now they're The Alchemist, books by Tony Robbins, seminars by Tony Robbins, which I'm all about. And he also cited Wim Hof and the Iceman breathwork as some of his most influential people that have started him on this journey. I've done a Wim Hof breathing course, and I can tell you right now that I have also been exposed to everything that Pete Evans has been exposed to in his very, very early days of trying to research enlightenment. And I sit on the complete opposite side to Pete Evans. So I'm going to go through some of the things that he's been spouting recently and provide you with some of the facts that he believes don't exist. Okay, so one thing that Pete Evans is very good at is telling people to not listen to him. He's like, don't listen to me, I'm not this expert. Don't listen to me, I don't know this. But he draws people in by being able to say, I'm not, how can I say to him? I'm not the expert on this, or...
He's self-depreciating.
Yeah, he's very self-depreciating, and so it draws you in to listen. But okay, anyway. So Pete Evans doesn't believe that COVID-19 is a pandemic because he believes that there is a lot of misinformation being put out by the experts, and that all of the information changes from day to day, and that the information that is changing is the infectivity rate and the mortality rate. And because these pieces of information are differing from day to day, this means that it's not really a pandemic. But what I'll say to that is that the infectivity of the virus has never changed from the first outbreaks that occurred in China. The infectivity rate stays at 1 to 3. Now, what changes is our behavior. So we are getting better and better at protecting ourselves. And so in different parts of the world, the infectivity rate is still 1 to 3, but some parts of the world are better at protecting themselves than others. So the mortality rate is going to change from country to country depending on the resources available for critical care. So none of those things that he has said can tell us that it's not a pandemic. So a pandemic is defined by the World Health Organization that a disease is spreading through the world in all countries at the same time, and that's what the definition of a pandemic is. Okay, so he has deep distrust in science because he believes that science can be bought out, and he believes that science never puts their hand up to be wrong. And I'll say that all scientists, their biggest fear is being wrong. And so a lot of scientists don't actually publish their work because they have a fear of it not being right and being discredited or being, surpassed in the research done by another lab, or someone else has done more thorough work. And scientists get papers retracted all the time, and that's the peer review process. And so scientists do put their hand up to being wrong, and their work does get discredited. Just today or yesterday, a hydroxychloroquine study on COVID-19 got retracted because the data couldn't be reproduced. So it happens, and it happens, and scientists are held very much accountable for their work by their peers. Okay. Okay. So what I noticed about Pete Evans in all of his interviews is that he has a deep concern with being controlled, and a deep concern with being controlled by mainstream, being controlled by the media, and being controlled what his knowledge, where his knowledge comes from. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. He has gone on his own journey to uncover, answers to the questions that he seeks. But what I believe is happening right now is that he's actually dug himself into such a deep, deep hole that he is having to convince himself that, he needs to continue going on this path of self-righteous discovery, questioning, because he doesn't want to have a feeling of having to retract anything, even though he's more than he says all the time he's more than comfortable to be wrong. He is someone who's responsible, and in a position of responsibility should not be giving out advice on health. He should not be giving advice on nutrition. And the thing that he should be doing is staying in his lane and concentrating on being a chef. Anything beyond that needs to be left to the experts, and with his position of influence in his own community, he shouldn't be providing the tools for people to become educated, but he shouldn't be the educator himself. He has huge criticisms about the media not providing information on how to maintain a healthy immune system during this COVID-19 pandemic, he calls it. And he says that why aren't any media outlets and politicians providing information on how to maintain a healthy immune system to fight the virus? And to all of the comments that he has about that, what we can say is that nobody knows if boosting your immune system right now will actually help you during a COVID-19 immune response. So we don't know enough about the virus, and we're learning and learning every single day. But for a health authority or for a politician or for someone of influence to come out and say that vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and selenium, which is the immune boosting kind of things that he talks about, can help you during a COVID-19 would be irresponsible, because no one has done the studies to prove that those things will help you during COVID-19 or during a coronavirus infection. So no one's saying these things because no one's been able to prove it yet. So it would be irresponsible for people to start touting these things. And just like it's irresponsible for Trump to say that hydroxychloroquine should be taken, or vitamin D or zinc should be supplemented to help you with coronavirus, because no one knows for sure that is going to help you. So he talks about legal actions being taken against people who provide misinformation. Well, why would healthcare people or politicians provide information about something that hasn't been proven yet for this particular virus? Okay. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Okay, everyone's watching. So scientific. Is it, Em? Was it really scientific? Nah. My crystals. I'm going to choose a crystal. Ooh. Don't know what that one is. Dark green jade. Something. Someone tell me. Just like to hold them. Love that incense. Me too. This is incense. Incense. Remember Sophie, who likes to dress me? This is hers. This is incense. It smells beautiful. Love affirmations, meditation, journaling, and incense. I draw the line at crystals though. No, they're nice to hold. Plus they come from the earth. And they have special powers, like this one. If you put this one in a glass of water, swirl it around 3 times, put salt in it, you'll obviously fall in love with someone. That's what I did. Okay. Tony Robbins or Pete Evans? Okay, you guys are replying to yourselves. Okay. Because he's paranoid. He's so paranoid. Okay, so the other thing about Pete Evans is that he's obviously a little bit unwell. And when you go down the path of becoming super enlightened, I do believe that people begin to access parts of their brain because they, do deprive themselves of oxygen at stages, especially in Wim Hof breathing. And people start to open up parts of their own subconscious, and that's their journey. That's cool. But Pete Evans, the mainstream ain't ready for you. You need to go and live on another planet with all of your followers. Nicole Dean, the cues. Were you talking about the excessive sweating and the smiling and the eyes? I mean, he's obviously a very happy, enlightened person. Yes, but he can sell those supplements for $40 per bottle on his website. Unbelievable. Oh, is he? Oh, well, see, every time he causes controversy, and we're even giving him a platform right now, but I'm dispelling his inabilities to accept mainstream, which is cool. I love my crystals. I have so many. Me too. Come on. Surely there's some questions there. I've just been... this is a great book. Attract things that you want in your life with your mind, people. Also, I hear this is a great book. The Teen Brain. This is what's on my bedside. Teen Brain, Super Attractor Journal. And that's another journal. Oh, and this one. This is a workbook. Influence. Psychology of Persuasion. This is for science work stuff. Okay, any more questions? Come on, people. Louisa Tyrrell says, the don't listen to me trope is a reflection of the streak of anti-intellectualism that that is on the rise in the West. Evans and co. are the quacks and charlatans of the 21st century. Ooh, peddling their snake oil. Ooh, I like that. Yep. Hey, Sarah. Sarah cut my hair. Do you like it? He went and studied a science degree. If he went and studied a science degree, would he be credible then? Me having a dig. You know what? If he went and studied a science degree and understood more about, if he understood more about viruses, you know, viruses is not something you can just learn online by yourself. You know, understanding a virus takes years and years of training in the lab and having that kind of fundamental education. I'm sure if he went and did a science degree and did actual lab-based research, that he may not have the same opinions because he doesn't have any first-hand experience. You want the Teen Brain book? Well, no, this is the house copy, sorry. Apparently it's very good. Okay, We don't we have consumer groups to stop him selling his light machine? Yeah, the TGA shut him down and fined him $15,000, I think, for saying that light machine had anti-COVID settings for the Wuhan virus. Okay, well, I hope, maybe I'll just quickly jot through my notes and just make sure I didn't miss anything in the Pete Evans chapter. Okay, notes I took. We have read the same books concerning. He loses his train of thought a lot. He winks a lot. He embraces the natural world, the alternative world, but he exists in the mainstream realm. He's a chef, not qualified to provide any scientific advice or nutritional advice. He had a conventional life. His mum was a great cook. Okay, we've gone through that breathing stuff. Okay. He learned how to meditate, how to philosophize, how to speed read and juggle. He's anti-labels. He's also an anti-vaxxer, but said that he's had vaccines in the past and that if a COVID-19 vaccine was proven safe, that he might have it. Okay, he says, don't listen to me. He's not scared of COVID. Okay, he says, I don't know to a lot of things, which is pretty admirable. He distrusts conflicting info. Science can be bought. He's deeply suspicious. Paleo Pete, open to being wrong. I'd like to say that you're wrong, Pete. Then he takes 10,000 sips of Kool-Aid, I've said. Throughout the entire interview, he keeps drinking, like, I don't know whether it's a cup of tea, keeps filling it up. I can't say it's off screen. Okay, I've just said taking 10,000 sips of Kool-Aid. 30 years ago, he began reading his conspiracy theory books, and he says that he has healthy skepticism. He believes that Bill Gates is trying to take away everyone's power. He asks people to unfollow him. Well, that was easy because I didn't follow him already. He believes in choice, which so do I. His followers he has 90% female followers. They're aged between 55 and 75, and they're mums and grandmas. I don't know how he knew that. Pete Evans is the last hope for a lot of people, he believes. He is listening for his next calling, and currently his next calling is, he's waiting for it to arrive. He doesn't believe that it's got anything to do with protesting. Massive issue with authority. No one can tell him he can't hug his mum. Freedom is the link to all of the people protesting right now. No one's going to tell him he has to have a flu vax if he wants to go to an aged care centre. He doesn't believe in censorship, and he keeps winking. I don't know if it's a twitch or not. Very paranoid, and if he dies, it wasn't an accident. Okay, I'm concerned about his state of mind now by this stage. This is probably about an hour in. the stuff that he says is not 100% true. He actually says that. He follows up on the things that he says to make sure that he gets a reaction. So he's thought-provoking. That's about it. So I'll just have a quick lose. Okay. He is a part of a cult and has my friend sucked in. How can I get my friend to realize the conspiracy theories? Interesting. There's a really funny Facebook page and it's called, what's it called? Blocked by Pete Evans. Maybe show your friend that. There are, I believe it was started by a couple of, were they nutritionists? To dispel the actual nutritional information that he was touting. And I remember, so I've not really followed Pete Evans. I never watched the MasterChef or whatever he was on. I never watched the cooking shows that he was on. The first I'd really heard of him when he made that paleo book about providing children or babies with meals that were deemed to be dangerous for them. So, there's a lot of papers that dispel his info. I can provide you with some links for that, Trace. Okay, isn't it reasonable to expect that most health research and correlating health advice becomes superseded or obsolete as... how do I open that again? Obsolete as... Oh, I'm sorry, Angela, I can't see that. Oh, okay, cool. Isn't it reasonable to expect that most health research and correlating health advice becomes superseded or obsolete as knowledge of science and research methods progress and improve? Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I couldn't understand why he doesn't think that science is ready to put their hand up to be wrong, because I believe that scientists are ready for that. They're always moving forward. So what if he is trying to find the truth, Charlton? Yeah, potentially. He's definitely fantastic at being a questioner, pushing outside the box and trying to find the truth, which is amazing. And there's definitely a need for people in that world. But my concern is that when in his position, he shouldn't be the one providing his truths to people, because I believe it's irresponsible of him. And that, you may not agree with me, Charlton, but that's fine. Is he just a Fruit Loop, or is he really damaging? I fear that some people may be taking him seriously. Yeah, some people do take him seriously, and that is damaging for those people. But it's very, very hard. It's a really hard situation, and I believe he needs to be shut down. In talking about, in providing advice, I'm all for him becoming an advocate for holding people accountable and making sure there's due diligence on research and things that are being proposed by those experts in those departments. I don't believe that he is someone who should be providing his side or what he believes to be truth in particular cases for COVID-19. Delusions of grandeur. Yep, there's ego. He's not delusional. Oh, Charlton. You know what? He's not delusional for him. It's his reality. It might not be proven that a healthy diet can stop you catching COVID, but surely eating a healthy diet and boosting your immune system can't hurt. Absolutely, completely agree with you, Claire. But COVID impacts people who seemingly healthy, fit, young, as well as people in with pre-existing health conditions. So I believe that this virus, a healthy immune system may not be the thing that sets you apart. It might help, but we can't prove that right now. Okay, not a hope in hell, this Nana not following him. He's loopy. Yes, Lauren, well done. He has his right to have his own opinion. He does, Charlton, but with opinion comes great responsibility when it has to do with health concerns, with providing advice that goes against the medical community. And that is what he's doing by providing advice around opposing vaccines and opposing health warnings around maintaining social distancing, around not socializing, and he's more concerned with his rights being taken away and feeling that he doesn't have control of his life than he is more concerned with the health impacts of spreading the virus. Okay, he's got a right to his opinion, yes. It's the dis and malinformation he's spreading that's dangerous and could cause significant harm. Absolutely agree with you, Louisa. Let's get Pete on farty facts. I don't know. I'd rather have Jacinda Ardern. Who can get me Jacinda Ardern now? She is interesting. To me, he seemed to have flight of ideas, a jittery facial expressions, inability to remain on track in conversation, easily distracted, delusional of grandeur and paranoia. Nicole, I would suggest it definitely came across that way in the 60 minutes piece. The longer piece, the hour and a half, it runs fairly coherently in his train of thought. I mean, he does lose his train of thought quite a few times, but he's quite passionate about the tangents he takes. And not everyone's great at getting it back on track, and that's what the interviewer's job is. So yeah, he definitely is operating on a higher frequency than most of us. And that's awesome for him, but I just don't think that he should be the one responsible for sending the messages out that he is. Okay, he is in a position of influence and he knows it and he needs to stop. His opinion is so dangerous to the community. Yep. Antidote is not evidence. Yep. Yes, get Jacinda Ardern. Yes to Jacinda. Yes, cool. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks, Em. We'll leave it at that. I hope that was helpful for trying to demystify Pandemic Pete, Paleo Pete, and that's his journey. I'm proud of being able to say that I've looked into him now, and for all of his, he might be a great person, but I don't think he's the guy that should be providing health advice, and I don't think that he should be the guy to be providing nutrition advice to his followers. I think you just stick in your lane, Pete. Be a chef, and if you've got your own personal beliefs about operating in higher frequencies and opening up to being evolved and all that kind of stuff, that's awesome. But your public forum, I don't believe you should leave that to the experts like Wim Hof, where he's dedicated his life to it, and like Tony Robbins, you refer people to that stuff and keep your space for your lane. Good night.